with my foster dog Marli. She's my site supervisor today. Good girlie. I'm going to do a quick little video about how I'm converting my original hoops. My original hoops, I'm converting them, some of them into baseless hoops. And I found a new technique that I'm going to show you today. Okay, so my original hoops were PVC pipe, and I just used some very flexible irrigation pipe to make the hoop section. And one simple method to turn this into a baseless hoop is simply to cut the centre bar and swivel those 2 feet around. And I'll show you what happens when I do that. So I've got my pipe cutter. We might have you out of the way, please. Get that one. And all I do is I simply cut this in the middle. And now I can swivel these 2 feet around and I can replace my hoop. So with this setup, it works okay, but it is pretty wobbly. What I could do is replace this section with a section with some feet, the same way that I've used over here. But again, that's an added expense to get more replacement parts. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to replace this section with something rigid, and that is hopefully going to really help. So what I've found is that if I use some PVC pipe that fits over the top of my uprights instead of inside, and I can curve my PVC pipe, and I'll show you the trick to do that, that's going to keep the whole structure more rigid, but also it's going to allow for it to pop apart if the dog does hit into it. So the PVC pipe that I've used that fits over the top of my uprights is actually an electrical conduit. This is much cheaper to purchase than plumbing PVC pipe. Now what I want to do is curve this so that it forms my hoop. Now if you heat up PVC pipe, it will bend. So I'm going to be able to mould it by heating it up. I'm going to use a hot air gun, like a paint stripper hot air gun. And the one that I've got actually came with a little attachment specifically for this purpose. So this is my hot air gun, and this is a little attachment for heating up PVC pipe. So we just hold the PVC pipe inside the little curved section here, turn it on, heat it up, and just move it gently up and down the PVC pipe until it reaches the correct temperature. Now you'll know when it's the correct temperature because it suddenly goes wobbly and soft. And that's the point at which to just gently mould it into the shape that we're aiming for. So this is the distance apart that I want my curve to form so that the ends will just pop nicely over the top of my uprights. So what I'm going to do is put a couple of nails in at each side, and these are going to be things I can just rest the PVC pipe over that, thank you, and get it into the right curve. Okay, so I've got my hot air gun with the PVC pipe attachment, I've got my piece of electrical conduit. Now you're going to have to move out of the way now, sweetie. So I'm going to start warming this up and then gently curving it into the shape that I'm looking for. Okay, so now I've got my hoop ready, nice and rigid, and this will just slide on the top of my uprights. Now, it actually slides down a bit too far, so I'm losing a lot of that height. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a screw in here, part the way through a couple of inches up from the end to prevent the hoop from dropping too far over my upright. So I've just drilled a little pilot hole and I'm going to pop a little short screw in there so it sticks out into the middle, and that will stop the PVC pipe from dropping too far down on top of my uprights. And now the moment of truth. Pop that one on there. Pop that one on there. Great, a lot more secure now. But if the dog does hit it, it will all come apart. So very safe. And let's have a go with Marli. Marli's never done any hoopers before, so let's see what happens. Marli. Ready? Oh, you'd be worried. There you go. There you go. Oh, good girl. Oh, good girl. Ready? Get it. This way. Good girl. Nice. Good girl. Ready? Yay. I think we're starting to get some hoop value. So I hope that helps if you want a good girl Marli. So I hope that helps if you're looking for another option of how you can turn your based hoops into baseless hoops. Good girl. Good girl.